If you listened to the last episode and thought, I'm carrying too much, and nobody really knows, this episode is for you. Because today we're talking about how to put some of that weight down and how to stop surviving alone, especially in your relationships. Hey y'all, welcome back to Steff's Signature Corner. If you're coming straight from our previous episode, I want to start by saying this. I'm really proud of you for sitting with your truth. Acknowledging the weight you carry takes courage. Last episode, we talked about the silent battles, the things you hold quietly, the strength people assume that you have, the emotions you don't always have language for. But today, we're going just a bit deeper. Because after you admit you're carrying too much, the next question becomes, how do you stop carrying this alone? How do I let go of the heaviness without guilt? How do I communicate what I'm feeling, especially in my relationships? And how do I focus on myself without feeling selfish? And that took some learning for me. Because a lot of times we can feel like we prioritize ourselves, or you put yourself first, and you can come across as selfish. Anyway, this episode is about release. It's about communication. It's about vulnerability. It's about learning to love without armor. So let's talk about it. For a long time, I thought being strong meant staying quiet and just handling it, not complaining about things, not needing help, not asking for help from others. Just saying that, oh, this is my problem, this is my burden, this is what I've been tasked to do, and I need to handle it. But this season taught me something different. Strength is not silence. Strength is honesty. Strength is saying, I'm not okay. And I've said it quite a few times. Strength is asking for support instead of pretending you don't need it. Now, when you think about support, you got to make sure that you think through your board of directors. We talked about that. Like true people that really care about you, that's going to support you. Not just random people either. And this is especially important when we talk about relationships. For women, we're often taught to be emotionally expressive, but also expected to carry everything. For men, there's this unspoken rule that vulnerability equals weakness, that opening up makes you less masculine, I guess. That your emotions should stay locked up and you shouldn't let anyone come in and get close to you and know how you're feeling. Or, hey, because you're a man, if you show any type of emotion, you're weak and a woman doesn't want you. But here's the truth. A relationship where only one person is allowed to feel deeply is not healthy. So if I'm in a relationship and I'm that person that is upset, frustrated, mad, sad, and I'm the only one that can get that out, and my partner sits there and takes all of this in, not only carrying his own, but carrying mine too, it's not healthy. Not healthy at all. Men deserve a space to be vulnerable. Women deserve partners who communicate honestly, whether man, woman, woman, whatever. And both of you deserve emotional safety. So if you take your fingers and you put them together, and you push against them, it's a lot more sturdier versus one hand and someone smacking it back and forth. Silence doesn't protect relationships. Communication does. So if you're sitting in a relationship and you're silent and you're taking it, or he's taking it, or whoever is taking the abuse, or just taking everything, period, you're not getting anywhere. And that's important. And this really brings me to something I had to learn the hard way. Healthy communication isn't about fixing each other. It's about creating space. Space where a man can say, babe, I'm tired. Babe, I'm overwhelmed. I'm scared. I don't have it all together, without feeling judged or minimized. Now, that is huge because I've talked to men before and they have expressed that, oh no, I can't express my emotions because women look at me as weak or a punk or whatever the case may be. And that's not okay because men carry a lot of things. And as people, we can expect men to be the rock. He can't be weak, or he can't be sad, or he can't be overwhelmed. When in actuality, he is. He may, I don't know, sit in his car and cry and pray and scream. Or when you're not at home, do these things. You never know unless you take the time to communicate. And that piece is important. But women also need a space where they can say, I need support. I'm carrying too much. I feel alone even with you here. I don't want to be strong all the time because we get labeled consistently as, oh, you're so strong. Women are strong. I was built to be this way. I was built to be tough. Well, guess what? Ford's breakdown. I probably leaned in a little bit on that. I'm sorry. And the only reason why I can say that from a woman's perspective is because I've broken. I have broken all the way down to where I didn't know. I didn't know what I needed, what I wanted. I had no idea. And that's just not even just saying your intimate relationship, but period. With people you know, with friends, with family, with relatives, whatever. But here's what I learned. If your partner doesn't feel safe being honest, they will either shut down or show up hardened. And when someone shuts down on you, ooh. So as people, you got to think through, how do we create a safe space? And this can be hard for a lot of people because a lot of people, we listen, but we listen in a completely different way. We listen to instantly be able to respond to what you've said. So you have to be able to listen without interrupting. You got to hear them all the way through. Try your best not to formulate anything in your head to say. Nothing. Also, we don't weaponize vulnerability later. So if somebody is vulnerable to you and they break down and tell you, I don't know, whatever. I was talking to someone and I was just like, hey, if a man sneezes, he may start crying, right? And it was just an example. I promise you, I'm not being funny. Let's just use that. If a person tells you like, hey, when somebody sneezes very hard, it makes me cry. I know it could be reality. However, you don't come back around months later and be like, oh, you're a crybaby because such and such be sneezing on you. That's why you blah, blah, blah. Like, no. They were vulnerable to tell you those things. Don't bring that back to them and do that, because you wouldn't want somebody to do that to you. But we also don't minimize emotions, because everybody's emotional wave is completely different. You don't want to minimize someone's emotions because that's not okay. And we don't rush to fix things. You, me, anybody else. It's not up to you to always fix it or try to come up with a solution to fix it. It is, let's work through this together. And one of the biggest things that I've noticed is that people always turn it around and make it about themselves. Yeah, because I had that and blah, 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 and I did this and this. It's not about you. It's about that person expressing themselves to you and communicating with you. So the best thing for you to do is take your lips and push them together and hear them. And lastly, we acknowledge before responding. So, hey, I'm just going to go back to the scenario where I said someone sneezed and they started to cry. Hey, I get that sneezing can set you off. You acknowledge that, and then you respond. That way you let them know that you've heard them. And a lot of times, the most healing words are, I hear you. That makes sense. And a big one is, thank you for trusting me with that. Because we as people, we know that a lot of times when folks, or when you want to talk to someone, that information comes back up. But I want you to know that, hey, you trusted me with something very near and dear to you. And I want to protect that. So thank you for trusting me with this information. And when men feel safe emotionally, they soften. And it is so beautiful to see a man soften. And when women feel supported emotionally, guess what we do? Women will release control. And that is how partnership deepens between not only you, but your partner, your spouse, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever. But communication alone isn't enough if you're still carrying everything inside. One of the hardest lessons I've learned in this is you can't heal what you refuse to put down. You keep picking it back up. I've heard that so many times, even in church. You go to the altar and you take something to God and you're like, God, I don't want this anymore. Or just make it, fix it. And God is like, okay. But then you come back to the altar. No, God, I can do it. I can do it. And there you go again. Opening the box, trying to chip away at it and make it better. No, you can't heal when you refuse to put it down. Some of us are carrying past heartbreak, childhood wounds, unmet expectations, resentment, guilt, responsibility that was never meant to be ours. Emotional weight we normalize. Like, oh, this belongs to me. It's so heavy. Well, it's not yours. Put it down. And we don't let go because we're afraid. We're afraid of what'll happen. Afraid of who will be without the weight. Like if you just press on your chest and then you let go, that press from your chest, that release is, I'm pretty sure it's somebody beautiful underneath. And we tend to be afraid that if we stop carrying it, something will fall apart. But here's the truth. God had to show me. You don't lose yourself when you let go. You find yourself. And letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care wisely. You release the weight by naming it, acknowledging how it's affecting you, deciding to no longer let this have control, giving it to God repeatedly, not just once. Hey, God, ooh, I picked it up. I keep going to the door. I don't want this. I don't want that. Release it from my brain. It's not mine. I don't want it. I give it to you. Some things don't leave immediately, but they loosen their grip when you stop holding onto them so tight. Just ball up your hands and, I don't know, I can't ball up my hands really tight because I tend to have longer nails, but you put something in your hand and you grip it tight. Tight. When you release it, it's like muscles relax. It's like, ooh, God, I didn't know I was holding on to that so tight. And once that weight starts to lift, your focus begins to shift. Ooh, that rhymed. This season taught me that focusing on myself is not selfish. It's necessary. And I don't care what nobody has to say about it. I don't need to be under you. I don't need to be with you. I don't need to focus on you. I need to focus on me because I got to find me. And when you spent years pouring into other people, holding everything together, being the reliable one, being the strong one, you forget yourself. Refocusing on you looks like honoring your needs, protecting your space, choosing to rest without an apology, setting boundaries without an explanation. Hey, why didn't you call me back? I didn't want to. And then saying no without guilt. Do not feel guilty for saying no to someone. What's wrong with that? Why do you have to feel guilty when you say no? Pouring back into your body, mind, and spirit is ways to refocus on you as well. And here's the key. When you are well, your relationships improve, your communication improves, your patience improves, your love becomes healthier. You cannot pour from an empty place. And God never asked you to. And when God is the center of the process, everything changes. I've learned that God doesn't want me exhausted. He doesn't want me burnt out. He doesn't want me overwhelmed. He wants me whole. God helps you release what you were never meant to carry alone. He gives you wisdom in those relationships. He softens your heart. He teaches patience. He restores peace. Sometimes the prayer isn't God fix everything, where you're just, exhausted and God fix everything in my life. Lord, please. Sometimes it's God, you know who I am. You know where my opportunities are. But I just need you to help me to put this down because I keep picking it back up. And every time I pick it back up, it gets worse and worse and worse. I just need you to slap my hand and knock it out of my hand so I can keep it down. And every time I've trusted him with the weight, he's met me with grace. And I must say that has been so beautiful for me. I just want to say thank you for being here with me today. This episode is about learning to breathe again, together and individually. Before we close, here's your challenge for the week. Identify one emotional weight you've been carrying silently. Name whatever it is. If you're in a relationship, communicate one feeling honestly this week. No fixing, no defending it, just share it. Then I want you to create a space for your partner so that they can be vulnerable, or a friend. And I want you to make sure that you're listening without interrupting and validating without minimizing what they've said. But also do one thing this week that focuses on you. I know that the holidays are here, so I ask, rest, pray, journal, walk, breathe, disconnect, because you are getting ready to possibly be around family. You're probably going to reminisce on some old things that are happening or that have happened in your life. It's okay to disconnect from your family. It's okay to be by yourself. And then give God that heavy thing. Give him whatever that feels too heavy to hold, give it to him. One prayer, one release, one moment at a time. I want you to know you don't have to be strong alone anymore. You don't have to carry everything. You're allowed to soften. You're allowed to be supported. You're allowed to let go. I love y'all, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.